Chapter 45. Chapters on the virtues of the Qur'an. Narrated Abu Huraira that the Messenger of Allah came out to Ubay bin Ka'b, and the Messenger of Allah said, "O Ubay," and he was performing salat. So Ubay turned around, but he did not respond to him. So Ubay finished his salat quickly, then he turned to the Messenger of Allah and said, "Assalamu alaikum, O Messenger of Allah." The Messenger of Allah said, "Wa alaikum assalam. What prevented you from responding to me when I called you Ubay?" He said, "O Messenger of Allah, I was performing salat." So he said, Do you not find among what Allah revealed to me? Respond to Allah and to the Messenger when they call you to what gives you life. He said, "Of course, I shall not repeat that, if Allah wills." He said, "Would you like for me to teach you a surah, the likes of which has neither been revealed in the Tawrah, nor the Injil, nor the Zabur, nor in the entire Qur'an?" He said, "Yes, O Messenger of Allah." The Messenger of Allah said, "What do you recite in your salat?" He said, "I recite al-Qur'an." So the Messenger of Allah said, "By the one in whose hand is my soul, the like of it has neither been revealed in the Tawrah, nor the Injil, nor the Zabur, nor in the Furqan. It is the 7 oft repeated and the magnificent Qur'an which I was given." Great Sahih. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Messenger of Allah sent an expedition force comprised of many, and he asked each what he could recite. So each one of them mentioned what he could recite, meaning what he had memorized of the Qur'an. He came to one of the youngest men among them and said, "What have you memorized, O so and so?" He said, "I memorized this and that, and Surat al-Baqarah." He said, "You memorized Surat al-Baqarah?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Then go, for you are their commander." A man among the chiefs said, "By Allah, O Messenger of Allah, nothing prevented me from learning Surat al-Baqarah except fearing that I would not be able to stand with involuntary night prayer." The Messenger of Allah said, "Learn the Qur'an to recite it, for indeed the parable of the Qur'an for the one who recites it and stands with it in prayer is that of a bag full of musk, whose scent fills the air all around. And the parable of the one who learns it then sleeps while it is in his memory is that of a bag containing musk that is tied shut." Great Hassan. Narrated Abu Huraira that the Messenger of Allah said, Do not turn your houses into graves. Indeed, Shaitan does not enter the house in which Surat al-Baqarah is recited." Great Sahih. Narrated Abu Huraira that the Messenger of Allah, for everything there is a hump pinnacle, and the hump pinnacle of the Qur'an is Surat al-Baqarah. In it there is an ayah which is the master of the ayat in the Qur'an. It is Ayat al-Kursi, great Da'if. Narrated Abu Huraira that the Messenger of Allah said, whoever recites Ha Mim al-Mumin up to him is the return, 41-3, and Ayat al-Kursi, when he gets up in the morning, he will be protected by them until the evening. And whoever recites them when he reaches the evening, he will be protected by them until the morning. Great Da'if. Narrated Abdur Rahman bin Abi Layla that Abu Ayyub al-Ansari had a storehouse in which he kept dates. A ghoul would come and take from it. So he complained about that to the Prophet. So he said, go, and when you see her, say, in the name of Allah, answer to the Messenger of Allah. He said, so I caught her, and she swore that she would not return, so I released her. He went to the Prophet, and he said, why did your captive do? He said, she swore not to return. He said, she has lied, and she will come again to lie. He said, I caught her another time, and she swore that she would not return, so I released her, and went to the Prophet. He said, what did your captive do? He said, she swore that she would not return. So he said, she lied, and she will come again to lie. So he caught her and said, I shall not let you go until you accompany me to the Prophet. She said, I shall tell you something. If you recite Ayat al-Kursi in your home, then no shaitan, nor any other shall come near you. So he went to the Prophet, and he said, what did your captive do? He said, I informed him of what she said, and he said, she told the truth, and she is a continuous liar. Great Hassan. Narrated Abdullah bin Masud, Allah has not created in the heavens nor in the earth what is more magnificent than Ayat al-Kursi. Sufyan said, because Ayat al-Kursi is the speech of Allah, and Allah's speech is greater than Allah's creation of the heavens and the earth. Great Sahih. Narrated Abu Masud al-Ansari that the Messenger of Allah said, whoever recites the last two ayat of Surat al-Baqarah during the night, they shall suffice him. Great Sahih. Narrated An-Nu'man bin Bashir that the Prophet said, indeed Allah wrote in a book 2,000 years before he created the heavens and the earth, and he sent down 2 ayat from it to end Surat al-Baqarah with, if they are recited for 3 nights in a home, no shaitan shall come near it. Great Hassan. Narrated An-Nawas bin Saman that the Prophet said, the Qur'an shall come, and its people who acted according to it in the world, Surat al-Baqarah and al-Imran, shall be in front of it. An-Nawas said, the Messenger of Allah stated 3 parables about them which I have not since forgotten. He said, they will come as if they are 2 shades between which there is illumination, or as if they are 2 shady clouds, or as if they are shadows of lines of birds arguing on behalf of their people. Great Sahih. Narrated Abu Ishaq. Hearing Al-Bara say, there was a man reciting Surat Al-Kahf when he saw his riding animal stamping his feet. So he looked, and there was something like a shadow or cloud. So he went to the Messenger of Allah and mentioned that to him. The Prophet said, that was the tranquility which descends with the Qur'an, or descends because of the Qur'an. Great Sahih. Narrated Abu ad-Darda that the Prophet said, whoever recites 3 ayat from the beginning of Al-Kahf, he is protected from the turmoil of the Dajjal. Great Sahih. Narrated Anas that the Messenger of Allah said, indeed for everything there is a heart, and the Quran's heart is Yasin. Whoever recites Yasin, then for its recitation Allah writes for him that he recited the Quran 10 times. Great Daif. Narrated Abu Huraira that the Messenger of Allah said, whoever recites Ha Mim Ad Dukhan during the night, in the morning 70,000 angels seek forgiveness for him. Great Daif. Narrated Abu Huraira that the Messenger of Allah said, whoever recites Ha Mim Ad Dukhan during Friday night, he shall be forgiven. Great Daif. Narrated Ibn Abbas. One of the companions of the Prophet pitched a tent on a grave without knowing that it was a grave. Suddenly he heard a person from the grave reciting Surah Al-Mulk till he completed it. So he went to the Prophet and said, O Messenger of Allah, I pitched my tent on a grave without realizing that it was a grave. Then suddenly I heard a person from the grave reciting Surah Al-Mulk till he completed it. The Messenger of Allah said, it is the defender, it is the deliverer. It delivers from the punishment of the grave. Great Daif. Narrated Abu Huraira that the Prophet said, indeed there is a surah in the Quran of 30 ayat which intercedes for a man until he is forgiven. It is Surah Tabarak ala di biyadihil mulk. Great Hassan. Narrated Jabir. The Prophet would not sleep until he recited Alif, Lam, Mim, Tansil and Tabarak Alladhi Biyadihil Mulk. This hadith was reported similarly by more than one from Layth bin Abi Sulaym. Mughira bin Muslim reported it from Abu as-Subayr, from Jabir from the Prophet. And it is similar to this. Suhair reported it and said, I said to Abu as-Subayr, did you hear Jabir mentioning this hadith? He said, Safwan or Ibn Safwan informed me of it. It is as if Suhair rejected the idea that this hadith was from Abu as-Subayr from Jabir, another chain with similar in meaning, another chain that Tawis said, they are 70 good merits, more of virtue in it than every surah in the Quran. Great Daif. Narrated Anas bin Malik that the Messenger of Allah said, whoever recites Idha sulsilat. It equals half of the Quran for him. Whoever recites Kul ya ayyuhal kafirun, it equals a fourth of the Quran for him. And whoever recites Kul huwa Allahu ahad, it equals a third of the Quran for him. Great Daif. Narrated Ibn Abbas that the Messenger of Allah said, Idha sulsilat is equal to half of the Quran. Kul huwa Allahu ahad is equal to a third of the Quran. And Yul ya ayyuhal kafirun is equal to a fourth of the Quran. Great Daif. Narrated Anas bin Malik that the Messenger of Allah said to a man among his companions, Have you married O so-and-so? He said, No, by Allah, O Messenger of Allah, and I do not have anything to marry with. He said, Do you not know Kul huwa Allahu ahad? He said, Of course. He said, It is a third of the Quran. He said, Do you not know Idha ja nasrullahi wal fat? He said, Of course. He said, It is a fourth of the Quran. He said, Do you not know Kul ya ayyuhal kafirun? He said, Of course. He said, It is a fourth of the Quran. He said, Do you not know Idha sulsilat al-ard? He said, Of course. He said, It is a fourth of the Quran. He said, Marry, marry. Great Daif. Narrated Abu Ayyub that the Messenger of Allah said, Would one of you like to recite a third of the Quran during a night? Whoever recited Allahu al-Wahid as-Samad, then he has recited a third of the Quran. Great Sahih. Narrated Abu Huraira, I went out with the Messenger of Allah and heard a man reciting Kul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahus samad. So the Messenger of Allah said, It is obligatory. I said, What is obligatory? He said, Paradise. Great Hassan. Narrated Anas bin Malik that the Prophet said, Whoever recited Kul huwa Allahu ahad 200 times every day, 50 years worth of his sins will be removed, unless he owed a debt. Great Daif. Narrated Abu Huraira that the Messenger of Allah said, Kul huwa Allahu ahad is equal to a third of the Quran. Great Hassan. Narrated Abu Huraira that the Messenger of Allah said, Gather and I shall recite to you 1/3 of the Quran. He said, So whoever was to gather did so. Then the Messenger of Allah came out and recited Kul huwa Allahu ahad. Then he went back in. Some of them said to each other, The Messenger of Allah said, I shall recite to you 1/3 of the Quran. I thought that this was news from the heavens. Allah's Prophet came out and said, Indeed, I said that I would recite to you 1/3 of the Quran, and it is indeed equal to 1/3 of the Quran. Great Sahih. Narrated Anas bin Malik, there was a man from the Ansar who led them in Salat at Masjid Quba. Every time he was to recite a surah for them during Salat, he would begin by reciting Kul huwa Allahu Ahad until he finished. Then he would recite another surah with it. He did that in each rak'ah. His companions talked to him and said, "You recite this surah. You should either recite it or leave it and recite another surah." He said, "I shall not leave it. If you would like me to lead you with it, then I shall do so. And if you do not like it, then I shall leave you." And they considered him the best among them, and they did not like the idea of someone else leading them. So when the Prophet came to them, they informed him about what had happened, and he said, "O so and so, what prevents you from doing what your companions told you to do? Why do you recite this surah in every rak'ah?" He said, "O Messenger of Allah, indeed I love it." So the Messenger of Allah said, "Your love for it shall have you admitted into paradise." Great Sahih. Narrated Uqba bin Amir al-Juhani. That the Prophet said, "Some ayat have been revealed to me, the likes of which have not been seen. Kul abdhu birabin nas, until the end of the surah, and Kul abdhu birabil falak, until the end of the surah." Great Sahih. Narrated Uqba bin Amir. The Messenger of Allah ordered me to recite al-Muawwid Hatain at the end of every salat. Great Hassan. Narrated Aisha, that the Messenger of Allah said, "The one who recites the Qur'an and he is proficient with it, then he is with the noble and blessed angels, as-safaratil kiramil barara, and the one who recites it." Hisham said, "And it is hard for him." Shuba said, "And it is difficult for him. Then he gets 2 rewards." Great Sahih. Narrated Ali bub Abi Talib. That the Messenger of Allah said, "Whoever recites the Qur'an and memorizes it, making lawful what it makes lawful, and unlawful what it makes unlawful, Allah will admit him to paradise due to it, and grant him intercession for 10 of his family members who were to be consigned to the fire." Great Daif. Narrated Al-Harith al-Awar. I passed by the Majid when the people were absorbed in storytelling, so I entered upon Ali and said, "O commander of the believers, do you not see the people are becoming engrossed in storytelling?" He said, "They have been consumed with it." I said, "Yes." He said, "As for me, I heard the Messenger of Allah saying, 'Indeed there comes a fitna.' So I said, 'What is the way out from it, O Messenger of Allah?' He said, 'Allah's book, in it is news for what happened before you, and information about what comes after you, and judgment for what happens between you. It is the criterion between right and wrong, without jest. Whoever among the oppressive abandons it, Allah crushes him, and whoever seeks guidance from other than it, then Allah leaves him to stray. It is the firm rope of Allah, it is the wise remembrance, it is the straight path, and it is the one that the desires cannot distort, nor can the tongues twist it, nor can the scholars ever have enough of it, and it shall not become dull from reciting it much, and the amazement of it does not diminish. It is the one that when the jinns hear it, they did not hesitate to say about it, "Verily, we have heard a wonderful recitation, this Qur'an. It guides to the right path, and we have believed therein. Whoever speaks according to it, then he has said the truth, and whoever acts according to it, he is rewarded, and whoever judges by it, he has judged justly, and whoever invites to it, then he guides to the straight path. Take this, O Avar, great Daif." $152,907. Abu Abdur Rahman from Uthman bin Affan that the Messenger of Allah said, "The best of you is he who learns the Quran and teaches it." Abu Abdur Rahman said, "So that is why I sit at this seat of mine." And he taught the Quran during the time of Uthman until Al-Hajjaj bin Yusuf came Sahih. Abu Isa said, "This hadith is Hassan Sahih, great Sahih, a great Sah." Narrated Abu Abdur Rahman from Uthman bin Affan that the Messenger of Allah said, "The best of you is he who learns the Quran and teaches it." Abu Abdur Rahman said, "So that is a way. So that is why I sit at this seat of mine." And he taught the Quran during the time of Uthman until Al-Hajjaj bin Yusuf came. Great Sahih. Narrated Uthman bin Affan that the Messenger of Allah said, "The best of you, or the most virtuous of you, is he who learns the Quran and teaches it." Great Sahih. Narrated Ali bin Abi Talib that the Messenger of Allah said, "The best of you is he who learns the Quran and teaches it." Great Sahih. Narrated Muhammad bin Ka'b al-Qurasi, I heard Abdullah bin Masud saying, "The Messenger of Allah said, whoever recites a letter from Allah's book, then he receives the reward from it, and the reward of 10 the like of it." I do not say that Alif Lam Mim is a letter, but Alif is a letter, Lam is a letter, and Mim is a letter. Great Hassan. Narrated Sayyid bin Arta, narrated from Abu Umama, that the Prophet said, "Allah does not listen to anything more virtuous from the worshipper than the 2 rak'ah of salat he performs, and the righteousness spreads over the head of a worshipper as long as he remains in his salat." And the worshippers shall not draw nearer to Allah. Mighty and sublime is He, with similar to what came from Him. Great Daif. Narrated Jubair bin Nufayr that the Prophet said, "You shall not return to Allah with what is more virtuous than what came from him," meaning the Qur'an. Great Da'if. Narrated Ibn Abbas that the Messenger of Allah said, "Indeed, the one who does not have the Qur'an inside him, his heart, is like the ruined house." Great Da'if. Narrated Abdullah bin Amr that the Prophet said, "It shall be said," meaning to the one who memorized the Qur'an, "Recite and rise up, recite melodiously as you would recite in the world, for indeed your rank shall be at the last ayah you recited." Great Hassan. Narrated Abu Huraira that the Prophet said, "The one who memorized the Quran shall come on the day of judgment, and the reward for reciting the Quran says, 'O Lord, decorate him, so he is donned with the crown of nobility.' Then it says, 'O Lord, give him more, so he is donned with a suit of nobility.' Then it says, 'O Lord, be pleased with him,' so he is pleased with him and says, 'Recite and rise up, and be increased in reward with every ayah.' Great Hassan. Narrated Al-Muttalib bin Abdullah bin Hantab from Anas bin Malik that the Messenger of Allah said, "The rewards for my ummah were displayed before me, even the reward for the dust that a man comes out of the Majid with. The sins of my ummah were displayed before me, and I have not seen a sin worse than a surah or ayah of the Quran, which a man learned and then forgot." Great Da'if. Narrated Al-Hassan that Imran bin Hussein passed by a reciter reciting, then he began begging. So he, Imran, said, "Indeed we are from Allah, and to him shall we return." Then he said, "I heard the Messenger of Allah saying, 'Whoever recites the Quran, then let him ask Allah by it. For indeed there will come a people who will recite the Quran, asking from the people because of it." Great Hassan. Narrated Suhaib that the Messenger of Allah said, "He does not believe in the Quran who makes lawful what it prohibits." Great Da'if. Narrated Uqba bin Amir that the Messenger of Allah said, "The one who recites the Quran aloud is like the one who gives charity publicly, and the one who recites the Quran quietly is like the one who gives charity secretly." Great Hassan. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet would not sleep until he recited Surat Bani Israel and As-Sumar. Great Hassan. Narrated Irbad bin Sariya that the Prophet would recite the Musabihat chapters 17, 57, 59, 61 to 64, and 87 before sleep and say, indeed there is an ayah in them that is better than 1000 ayat, great Hassan. Narrated Makil bin Yassar that the Prophet said, whoever says 3 times when he gets up in the morning, Audhu Billahis Sami al-Alim min ash-shaytanir rajim, and he recites 3 ayat from the end of Surah al-Hashr, Allah appoints 70,000 angels who says salat upon him until the evening. If he dies on that day, he dies a martyr, and whoever reaches the evening, he holds the same status. Great Daif. Narrated Yala bin Mamlak that he asked Salama, the wife of the Prophet, about the recitation of the Prophet and his salat. She said, what can you do compared to his salat? He would pray and then sleep as long as he had prayed. Then he would pray as long as he had slept. Then he would pray as long as he had slept. Then he slept as long as he had prayed until the morning. Then she described his recitation. So she described his recitation as word by word. Great Hassan. Narrated Abdullah bin Abi Qais, a man from Al-Basra. I asked Aisha about the witr of the Messenger of Allah. How would he perform witr? Was it during the first part of the night or the end of it? She said, all of that. Sometimes he would perform witr during the first part of the night, and sometimes he would perform witr during the end of it. So I said, all praise is due to Allah, who made the matter accommodating. I said, how was his recitation? Was he quiet with recitations or loud? She said, he would do all of that. Sometimes he would recite quietly and sometimes aloud. I said, all praise is due to Allah, who made the matter accommodating. He said, I said, how would he deal with sexual impurity? Would he perform ghusl prior to sleeping, or would he sleep prior to ghusl? She said, he would do all of that. Sometimes he would perform ghusl then sleep, and sometimes he would perform wudu and then sleep. I said, Allah praise is due to Allah, who made the matter accommodating. Great Sahih. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. During the Mawqif Hajj season, the Prophet would present himself and say, which man will bring me to his people? For indeed the Quraysh have prevented me from conveying the speech of my Lord. Great Sahih. Great Sahih. Narrated Atiyah from Abu Sayyid that the Messenger of Allah said, the Lord blessed and most high is he, has said, whoever is too busy with the Qur'an for remembering me and asking me, then I shall give him more than what I gave to those who ask. And the virtue of Allah's speech over the speech of others is like the virtue of Allah over his creation. Great Daif.